In this video, we'll write the balanced net ionic equation for Ki plus CuSO4, potassium iodide plus copper 2 sulfate. We'll use these rules here to do that. First, we need to balance the molecular equation. When we look at this molecular equation, there's two iodines here and one here. Let's put a 2 in front of the Ki. Now there's two potassium atoms. That's fine. We have two potassium atoms there. One sulfur, one copper on each side, and then a sulfate group here and here. So this is the balanced molecular equation. Now we write the states for each substance. Ki, potassium compounds are very soluble. Put a little AQ, that's going to dissolve and dissociate. Copper sulfate, very soluble, dissolves, dissociates. Same again, we have this potassium compound here, and then we have this CuI2. Compounds with iodine are often soluble. In this case, though, copper 2 iodide does not dissolve in water. It's insoluble. Very small amount dissolves. So we're going to call this a solid. These two compounds react. This will be a precipitate, and it'll fall to the bottom of the test tube. Now that we have the states for each substance, we can split the strong electrolytes into their ions. This will give us the complete ionic equation. So we go to the periodic table. Potassium's in group 1. It's a positive charge. Iodide, negative. So we have 2K plus. I'll write aqueous at the end. Let's not do that right now. 2 iodide ions. Then we have copper 2 sulfate. Sulfate's always 2 minus, so the copper has to be 2 plus. That's why we called it copper 2 sulfate. So we have the copper 2 ion plus the sulfate ion, SO4 2 minus. So these are the reactants in our net ionic equation. For the products, we said we had a positive and a 2 minus here. So 2K plus, just like in the reactants, plus the sulfate ion, SO4 2 minus. And then for solids in net ionic equations, we don't split them apart. So it's just going to be CuI2. So this is the complete ionic equation. Now we can cross out spectator ions. They're on both sides of the complete ionic equation. They haven't changed, so we're really not interested in them. So in the reactants, we have 2 potassium ions. In the products, we also have 2 potassium ions. Let's cross those out. We have a sulfate ion, and again in the products, sulfate ion, cross that out. But what's left, that's the net ionic equation for Ki plus CuSO4. I'll clean it up and write the states in, and we'll have our net ionic equation. And this is the net ionic equation for potassium iodide plus copper 2 sulfate. So we can check our work here. We have 2 negative charges and 2 positive charges. They cancel out, they give us a neutral product here. We have 2 iodine atoms, 2 here. 1 copper, 1 copper. So mass is conserved as well. That's it. This is the balanced net ionic equation for potassium iodide plus copper 2 sulfate. Thanks for watching.